If you've ever found yourself asking, what's really going on here? This one is for you. Hi, friends. I'm Elena Aguilar, and this is the Bright Morning Podcast. Every week, I'll help you lead conversations that build connection and spark change. So, in today's episode, we are exploring a transformational framework that I return to again and again in my coaching practice, which is the core human needs. And you are going to hear a coaching demonstration where I support a client in identifying and making sense of an unmet need. And in doing so, they begin to shift how they show up. So, understanding our core needs, which are things like belonging, autonomy, competence, and purpose, is one of the most powerful lenses that we can bring to our work. When these needs are met, we thrive. And when they're not met, we struggle. And when our clients express frustration, self doubt, or disengagement, it's often because of an unmet need. So, if you want to lead conversations like this one and help your clients thrive, then I encourage you to spend time with the Core Human Needs Skill Session, which is in the Coach Learning Library. And that skill session walks you through the 6 needs that we focus on, and it gives you the tools to recognize them and respond to them when you are coaching. It also includes a video recording of the coaching conversation that you're about to hear, as well as a debrief where I pull back the curtain on my thinking behind my coaching moves. And in the show notes, you'll find a link to that. Okay, so here's what you need to know about this role play demonstration. I am going to be coaching Ellen, who will be channeling her second year teacher self. Now, this is my first year working with Ellen and our third coaching session together. She has been very open to coaching. We have a good rapport. So, like most of the role plays on this podcast, we jump into the conversation after the beginning part of a coaching conversation in which we would have had some connection time. Since you are not going to hear that today, I have created a free resource for you that walks you through how to lead that portion of your coaching conversations. And you will find a link to that in the show notes. Okay, let's jump into this conversation. All right, Ellen. So, as always, I have some things that I want to check in on, things that we decided last time that we would talk about also. But I want to hear if there's anything on your mind that you want to make sure we talk about today.
Actually, yeah, I've just been noticing some pressure and frustration I've been experiencing. I just feel like I need some space to process that it's like coming up to the time where I'm going to decide whether or not I'll return to this role and to this school next year. And there's like a lot of reasons why I want to. I don't feel set either way, but I've just been feeling stuck or just like I've just been having a hard time with my 5th grade team and some of our instructional practices. And I don't know what to do.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So I know I'm only a 2nd year teacher. I have a lot to learn, but I just am feeling a tension with how we have been approaching instruction. And this really doesn't feel right. I know we have a curriculum. I know that we as a 5th grade team need to be aligned in how we're approaching instruction. But I just feel like the teachers are just so set on this very set I do, we do, you do instruction that's so scripted. And there's just no room for flexibility. And I'm serving a lot of our students who are new to country. We're focusing specifically on English language acquisition. So they're coming in from lots of different places of proficiency. And when we teach this way, it's like I get some kids get it within the timeline that's scripted. But a lot of kids are not. And then I just don't feel like I have time to meet them where they're at or respond to what they're showing me because it's, oh, time's up. We need to move on to the independent practice. And
Mm.
when I brought this up in meetings, I feel like teachers are they have the attitude like, yeah, that's how it goes when you teach from a curriculum. Like you'll
Mm.
learn that.
Okay, that helps. So maybe try completing this sentence. And I would say, just say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
So the problem is,
I'm me.
the problem is you.
Yes.
Hmm.
Maybe I should just be like, I don't know. I am a second year teacher. I get it. Maybe I just need to be like, okay, let me learn from what the other teachers are doing. We have a curriculum.
Okay. So the problem is, I don't know what I'm doing, or my judgment, my decision making in the classroom isn't on target.
Let me try again.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
I think okay, another problem is rigidity. It just
Yeah.
feels so rigid.
Rigidity. Okay. Anything else? Like, there can be many different problems compounding. The problem is me. The problem is rigidity.
I feel like the problem is lack of differentiation.
So, what I'm hearing is that you want to differentiate, but
Mhm.
you are feeling pressured to teach in the same way that the other teachers in the fifth grade team are teaching.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So then coming back to, that's maybe something along the lines of the rigidity or the culture of that team. And then I hear you're still questioning yourself and saying, or maybe I'm part of it. And I kind of wonder about your sense of your ability to make decisions as a teacher, or your, we could call it your autonomy as a teacher, that need that we have to make choices about how we're teaching.
Mhm.
I'm curious if that feels like that's at play for you.
Yeah, as I through our coaching and great resources in my teaching programs, I've been gaining more confidence in just, okay, I have acquired some basics about teaching. I am starting to feel the urge to be like, what if I just tried this little activity? Or what if I brought in this idea that I learned about at my program? I can just feel the urge to want to try other things.
Mm.
But then the doubt comes in where I'm like, but I should probably check with the other fifth teacher first. Or is that okay for me to do that without telling anyone? I don't know. So that's like
Mm.
the inner battle I've been facing, especially as I've just been gaining more confidence in some of the basics.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm hearing that as your competence builds, you are wanting more autonomy. You're wanting to be able to make these decisions. And also, you're contending with some self doubt or some lack of trust in yourself and your decision making.
Mhm.
And that's really hard when those are core human needs. And when those are not met, we can feel really frustrated. And I hear the questioning about, do I want to come back here? Do I want to be in this role?
Yes, I've just been feeling so frustrated, or I don't feel that spark about coming into work today. I don't know. And then I feel like the kids can feel that for me too. Like when my heart's not in the activity, no, they can tell that I'm like, okay, moving on. I just feel frustrated. I feel stuck, and it makes it hard for me to want to say yes to that again.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's coming to my mind is the concept of the spheres of influence. And I remember sharing this with you a couple months ago. And I'm wondering about using that to think about the areas where you do have decision making power, even if there are some constraints, but there are some things that you can make decisions about. Just the act of finding these small spaces where you can make choices that are based on your emerging knowledge and understanding might allow you to feel a little bit more agency. How does that
Yeah,
sound if we use that tool as a way to think about where you could make choices?
that sounds great to me.
So, what comes to mind first when you think about all these choices that you get to make about teaching in the classroom and your developing, building understanding of what your students need? Are there things that come to mind that you could do that you feel like, yeah, I can do this within the parameters of the grade level and the expectation?
Actually, something that just came to mind for me was like, oh, I control the seating arrangement in my room.
Mm,
I could think a little bit more strategically about what the setup of the room looks like, or even more like who is in what group, like who's sitting with who. Because then, even if I'm still going through, okay, we're all doing this lesson, it's in the curriculum, I think that it would just allow me to feel like, okay, I have an eye on table two for this reason, and I can act on that. Or just like, I can know that table two might need a little more time here. And that, yeah, I can definitely change the seating.
that's really wise. That's it's like, wow, yes, that
Yeah.
is so smart. You just lit up when you had that awareness. I'm curious how that understanding, that possible decision that you can make, how that makes you feel about yourself as a teacher, like your deep self, your
Yeah.
decision making.
It's funny. All week I've been knocking my head against the wall. What am I doing? But then you asked me the question, and I was like, oh, I could do that. And so I think for my teacher self, it affirms for me that I can do it. It's not as if every single idea I have is not possible.
Mhm. Yeah. So I just want to contextualize this just a little bit because I think sometimes it helps us to have these frameworks. And I mentioned that I am hearing in you these desires to meet what we call core human needs. And one of those needs is the need for autonomy, the need to be able to make the decisions. There's also the need for trusting in yourself, which I'm also hearing entwined with that. And then there's a need for competence. We're just feeling, I know how to do this. I'm doing well. When those needs are not feeling met, then it's really hard. And then we're
Yeah.
unhappy and we suffer. So I'm wanting to just validate that this desire for autonomy or for agency is really important, is really essential. I'm curious, as you hear me say all of that, what do you think it might look like or sound like for you to advocate for some of this autonomous decision making in your classroom with the fifth grade teachers? Can you imagine that? What do you think it would look or sound like?
Oh, I wonder, I feel hard. It's hard for me to voice. I still just really feel like I am the second year teacher on the team. But I wonder, sometimes I feel like when I ask a lot of questions, people are like, why is she asking so many questions about this?
Mm,
And I wonder if instead I came with a concrete idea,
mm,
like
mm,
we've all previewed the curriculum, we know what's coming up for the next set of lessons. And maybe if I found like one opportunity to, instead of questioning it, be like, I had an idea of something we could all try during independent practice time.
mm,
And I wonder if I came with an idea rather than a question, if that might be received better. I don't know.
mm. I love that. I hear that as something that is within your influence. You can offer an idea. I love that awareness of maybe when I come with a lot of questions, what I'm hearing you say is maybe they could perceive that as being a lack of confidence or a lack of competence. And what if you come with an idea? One thing that was coming to my mind was also, I wonder what would happen if you came with, I want to say data, but I'm really meaning an
Oh,
anecdote about the seating arrangement shift.
oh,
So you tried something and you come and you can just share, I tried this and here's what I saw. Here's the way I saw that impacted students. And perhaps then also offering an idea, but coming with the evidence of your positive experience in trying something new. I wonder how
Mhm.
that might influence your colleagues.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so we're going to stop this role play there, and we are going to debrief for the Coach Learning Library. Welcome back, friends. I hope this conversation gave you a feel for how subtle and how profound this framework can be. So, here are a few reminders as you begin exploring core human needs in your coaching. When you notice frustration or sadness or even resistance, pause and ask yourself, what need might be unmet here? Be mindful of your own reactions and stories. Know that even just by naming a need, this can be deeply healing. And this is human work, which takes courage and it takes care and it can change everything. So, to go deeper, which I hope you will, and to learn how to identify which core human need is unmet and how to coach each core human need, visit the Core Human Needs skill session in the Coach Learning Library. And in that skill session, you will find reflection tools and scripts and guidance for how to integrate this framework into your coaching practice skillfully and with care for your clients and yourself. You will also find a video recording of this coaching demonstration, which includes a debrief conversation where I pull back the curtain on my thinking and each coaching move I made. And if you want to strengthen your foundation for this work, then also check out the core emotions skill session and the exploring beliefs skill session, which are also in the learning library. And don't forget, this episode is part of our weekly podcast. So subscribe and then you won't miss any episodes. All right, friends, Leslie Bickford is the podcast producer and Stacy Goodman does the sound engineering. Take care and be well, everyone.